Hello everyone, here is Anna and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about a very controversial topic. I would like to talk to you about piano competitions and music competitions in general, about my personal experience performing for competitions for about 23 years, about some statistics, about history of competitions, and of course about my thoughts on the whole situation. Honestly, I wanted to record this video for a very long time already, but somehow I never felt ready until now, because there is also a big emotional aspect involved. But I think now it's the right time to do it and I feel good about it. And if you are interested, let's get started. I would like to start talking a little bit about the history of music competitions. The history of competitions is much longer than we might think. Competitions were already a big part of social life in Greece and Roman Empire. The first piano competitions were Naumburg competition that was held in 1926 in New York, and 1 year later Chopin competition in Warsaw. Both of them, but especially Chopin competition, were very important events for the whole music world. After that, competitions started appearing like once in a few years, drawing a very big attention of public, critics and musicians. If you compare it to nowadays, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of music competitions held each year. Very different level, from almost like amateur-ish up to incredibly professional, with competitors already having a name and a career in the music world. And now I think it will be much easier if I start talking about pros and cons of music competitions, sharing with you my musical opinion, but at the same time, as much as possible, trying to stay objective. I will start with positive things. Of course, competitions have a lot of good things about them, otherwise they wouldn't be so popular. To my personal opinion, the best thing about music competitions is actually that they attract big attention of public to the music itself. I think that's what many of you do. It's very exciting to watch competitions, to choose a favorite competitor and follow them throughout the competition, to discuss the results and so on. Of course, it's very thrilling to watch young musicians perform at their maximum capacity, sometimes at the human's maximum capacity, I would say. The performing style of competitions nowadays is very athletic, concentrating mainly on technicality and a strong, powerful way of playing. So to watch competitions sometimes is as exciting as to watch the Olympic Games, especially with nowadays technologies, when everything is recorded professionally on video and sometimes even streamed live. Of course, there are also pros for competitors, especially for those, I would say, 0.01% of competitors who win big prestigious competitions. They get a money prize, and on top of that, what is even more important, they get a possibility to perform well-paid concerts in the upcoming months or years at the big established venues and with acclaimed orchestras. What is important to keep in mind here, that this is something only winners of very big prestigious competitions get, which is again probably around 0.01% of all musicians who compete. I think that at some point of a life of a young musician, competing in competitions that are well organized and held in a nice hall can be a good experience, especially if they don't have yet so many performing possibilities like concerts or student concerts at their universities, or maybe they don't even study yet. Competitions provide clear goals and set clear deadlines, which can be highly motivating for young musicians. Some competitions, especially of a higher level, sometimes provide flight tickets and fine accommodation or host families, which can also be a great experience, seeing a new country and experiencing a new culture, also different music culture. It's also a great possibility to listen to other young musicians from all over the world and to make new friendships. Considering pros, I think that's basically it for me personally. Many people say that competitions are also a great way to learn new programs. I personally disagree with that, and I will explain later why. Now let's start with cons of music competitions, and I promise you there are much more of them, and I will try to explain in detail why. I will start a list of negative things about music competitions, saying that from what I see, music competitions have turned into a big business nowadays, and not in a positive way. Almost any music competition claims these days that their goals is to promote classical music, to provide performing opportunities for young musicians, to find young talents and to support them, and so on and so on. But in fact, it's almost never the main goals of organizers of music competitions. After competing for so many years and really getting into this competition structure and getting to know people who are behind the stage doors, I can honestly say that the main goal of competitions these days is to earn money and to get fame as a professor / competition organizer. Of course, I can't say for everyone, and I believe there are exceptions, but that's generally what I see, and I will try to explain to you why. First of all, there are only a few of those thousands of existing competitions that really do something for the winners. Most of the time you will get a money prize, very often not even the amount that was promised in the beginning. And when it comes to concert possibilities, there are actually really so few competitions who provide concert possibilities for the winners. So many competitors are being regularly deceived by the organizers and never see the prices. In fact, for example, it's a very common situation that concerts that were promised by the competition organizer actually have to be played for free or under very different circumstances than written in the rules. I myself once didn't receive my promised money prize, and another time an organizer who, so to say, gave me a tour as my prize just disappeared, and I never saw my prize as well. What is also happening very often is when prize winners, even if they get some reliable performing opportunities, are, so to say, forgotten after a few concerts, and they have to start their competition journey from the beginning once again in a year or two after already winning a competition. In the end of the day, I truly believe that there is only one winner of a competition, and it's a competition organizer themselves. Then there is another topic to discuss, and it's how subjective is art and music in general. When we compare a way of determining a winner in a sport competition, most of the time there are no doubts that a person who ran faster and finished first is the winner, but you can't apply these categories to art and music because, as I already said, it's very subjective. That's why at every competition there are situations when one contestant got the highest marks from one member of the jury and the lowest from another one. A big problem in the competition world that I also see is that there is actually no organization or association that controls the whole music competition world. There are no common rules on how competitions should be held. There is no one who actually controls if the competitors get their money prizes and concert engagements, how the competitors are treated behind the closed doors, if they have enough time to practice and try the piano in the hall, and most importantly, there are no neutral parties who control the voting process. Talking about voting process, there are only a few prestigious competitions in the world who actually make the voting public. It means that in all the other competitions you don't know how this or that member jury voted for you, and it opens a wide door for different kind of manipulations, supporting official or unofficial students of jury, and putting down another candidates. So it also means that the jury members are basically not responsible for their votes, and I absolutely believe that the public voting should be the only way of voting in the music competitions. I might not need to say that the competition jury very often consists of a group of friends who decide behind the closed doors, or as we joke sometimes even before the competition, to give the prizes to their students or friend students. Then this group of friends of professors, or as we call them, competition mafia, go to another competition that is held by another member of this group, and they repeat the same process. Of course, this whole situation should be absolutely illegal, but as I said, there is no one in the competition world who actually controls what is going on. So yeah, these people just feel like they can do whatever they want. I think that another problem of competitions is programming and performing style. When it comes to the programs, we are most of the time suggested to put such a tight and restricted program. We have a very little choice of what we can play at the competition, and this kind of competition programs, I like to call them a burger program. So, for example, most of the times you need to play something like Bach, Prelude and Fugue as your burger band, then you need a classical sonata as your salad, then you play let's say a big romantic piece as your burger patty, and some etudes and cheese, you know. I have nothing against all-rounded musicians who feel great in any kind of repertoire, but there are a few problems that come with this kind of restricted choice. First of all, I think it's simply boring. It kind of supports developing of thousands of young musicians who only can play a very small repertoire that consists of the same pieces that everybody is playing around, and they completely ignore endless, let's say, piano repertoire. How often have I heard after a competition from jury members that I should have not played this piece because it's not known enough, because it's not a competition piece? It's very frustrating, and later I started having a feeling that jury members these days can only judge someone's playing only if they play pieces that the jury knows very well. It's completely nonsense, and to my opinion also very unprofessional, but that's the reality of competitions these days. Another problem that comes together with performing only a restricted repertoire is that it actually doesn't prepare young musicians for an actual concert live, where the last thing a concert organizer and the public is interested in is program without any idea, throwing together random well-known pieces, let's say like something Bach, a few Chopin etudes and a Liszt sonata. It's just as an example, of course. These days musicians are required to build a creative, innovative and interesting for the public program in order to actually get concerts. Another big problem about competitions here, mainly about piano competitions, is a gender gap. According to the recent research by The Guardian, among members of the World Federation of International Music Competitions, men won 82% of the most recent 40 major piano competitions, and more than a third of these had all-male finals. There might be different reasons for that, and I filmed a whole video on this topic. You can click and watch it here or here if you're interested to. But piano competitions these days have absolutely and urgently addressed a gender gap. Finances is also a big problem when it comes to competitions, even though it might be first overseen. Of course, it's nice to win a competition and to come home with a nice money prize that will last you for a year or two, but we should not forget that this is not an average situation, because there is only one winner and the rest of participants, they don't win anything. In this case, you have spent a big amount of money, you paid an entrance fee, you maybe spent some money for recording pre-selection videos, you booked flights and trains and maybe taxis, you booked a hotel, you also needed something to eat, and most of the time you also took some time off your job that you most likely already have as a young musician. And then imagine repeating this process for 5 times per year or even more, like many young musicians feel they have to and are forced by their professors or their universities and the whole competition culture. After talking about endless problems of competitions, of course we can imagine a situation when there are left only a few competitions that try to be subjective as much as possible, that have public voting and somebody who controls the voting process and so on and so on. However, I personally absolutely believe that the world does not need any more competitions. I hope so much that this whole competition culture and this incredible inflation of music competition that we have seen in the past 20 or 30 years will soon come to its natural end. These days, everyone is a winner of some kind of international competition, and it doesn't have that value anymore. I almost feel that competitions have become, let's say, perversions of anachronistic music making and music practice. Our world should fight for diversity, for solidarity, for creativity and freedom, and those are not the values of music competitions. Instead of promoting those values, competition promotes only one way of thinking, one way of performing, and very often very close-minded, narrow-minded and uniformed way. What could we have instead of competitions? We could have more exchanging programs between different music schools or music universities, so that students and young musicians experience different cultures and have more concert possibilities. We could have more concerts or festivals in the places where competitions are held. We could try to change our educational system and show young musicians multiple ways of finding their way and finding actual jobs in the music world, instead of putting them into financial, physical and mental hole by sending them to endless competitions that don't bring anything neither to them and neither to the music world. I wish from the bottom of my heart that if there are competitions in the future remaining, they will promote a much wider variety of musicianship, including programming and styles of performing and the whole format of the event. There should only be competitions who provide unique opportunities not only for the winners but for all the participants. And as I already said, the public voting should be the only way of voting, and there should be neutral parties who control all the competitions in the world. I know that this is a very controversial topic and probably many of you will disagree with me, which is absolutely okay. I am looking forward to reading your comments. Let's discuss this topic further in the comments. And if you like this video, please support me with a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!